The GMC Yukon is not an SUV. It's an urban assault vehicle, a 2.8 tonne declaration of independence from fuel efficiency. It's about as subtle as a sledgehammer to the forehead or an infected eyelid. Yes, this is pretty munted. But it's also very, very luxurious with more leather than a Texan fetish club. Plus, it's got loads of technology. And the best part, you can put a jet ski in the boot. But I reckon Will Arnett said it best in the official TV ad.
Some things are just made for more.
But is it worth $175,000? Time to saddle up. The GMC Yukon Denali is an 8-seat mega SUV built in Texas in the USA at the same Arlington plant as the Chevy Suburban and Caddy Escalade. It's imported to Australia, then remanufactured by Walkinshaw Automotive, which moves the steering wheel and many other components from the left to the right-hand side, designed and validated to meet Australian regulations. The engineering of new components and extra man-hours required to convert it from left to right-hand drive add cost. Lots of cost. This thing won't leave you much change from 200 large once you add dealer delivery and on-road costs, a few accessories as well. And for that sort of money, you could get a base spec Porsche Taycan or a Mercedes-Benz GLS or a Boost Juice franchise. But how many of those things are going to haul 8 people in absolute comfort, tow a giant boat, or warble like a slumbering woolly mammoth at idle? In the USA, rivals include the likes of the Ford Expedition and Jeep Wagoneer. But in Australia, people considering the Nissan Patrol, Land Cruiser 300 series and Lexus LX may end up investigating this big fella. There are 5 Yukon model grades in the USA, including an even bigger XL version. But only this almost top-spec Denali variant is offered in Australia. And it costs a smidge under $80,000 US in the States, which converts to around 120,000 in Aussie dollars. The remanufacturing that Walkinshaw Automotive undertakes is top quality. No one does it better in Australia, but given the high cost of the vehicle, a 3-year warranty is pretty insulting. You do get 3 years free roadside assistance though. I'm not gonna lie, I would buy this beast just for the optics and street presence. Measuring 5.4 meters from bumper to bumper, it is longer than a Toyota Hilux Ute, and it just has this incredible audacity about it. And you simply won't find that anywhere else. And compared to the many Chinese vehicles I've been testing lately, this is just at the opposite end of the spectrum. I love it. It doesn't just roll up to the curb, it announces itself via 24 inches of shiny pearl nickel wheel at each corner, and enough chrome to blind passers-by.
I'm blind. Well, easy come, easy go.
The oversized grille is intimidating, and the LED light show is impressive, and partially visible from low Earth orbit. The headlights, DRLs, fog lights and tail lights are all LED and create a bold signature, given how tall and wide the vehicle is. And the quad exhaust pipes let following traffic know this urban assault vehicle is the real V8 deal. It makes a bold entrance with these pop-out side steps, which make getting in and out a lot easier, especially for the kids. And it's got height adjustable air suspension as well, very bold. And speaking of the kids, they absolutely love this vehicle. Dad, can we have another go in the monster truck? Sure, get in. They climb around it like it's a treehouse, it's so big. But it's interesting, dropping them off at the kindergarten gets a lot of reproachful looks from other parents, and it's kind of emblematic of how these big yank tanks are perceived in today's modern society. Indeed, it's about as subtle as setting off fireworks in a library, and the way it clogs up car parks won't win you any friends. Neither will its gas-guzzling 6.2 litre V8 petrol engine, but golly gee, it sounds good. Plus, it dishes out globs of low-end torque, which motivates the Yukon's 2.8 tonne bulk with effortless ease. The V8 engine's cylinder heads and block are made from aluminium to keep it light-ish, and while the valve train is pretty low-tech, overhead valves, it does have some advanced features going on in there.
The car's computer brain can actually shut down half of the V8's cylinders, so you're only running as a 4-cylinder, but only under very, very light loads, it turns out. And the conditions need to be good. We're talking downhill, tailwind, low barometric pressure. You get the gist. It'll chew through fuel quicker than a hungry dingo at dinner time, and it's got a 91 litre fuel tank, so you're going to be paying big bucks at the Bowser, but really, if you're already spending 200k on a car like this, do you really care? You can get the Yukon with a 3-litre turbo diesel engine in the USA, but how is that supposed to announce your arrival at footy training? Engine power finds its way to the wheels via a 10-speed automatic transmission, and there's a bunch of different drive modes. You can do rear-wheel drive, you can do four-wheel drive auto, there's four-wheel drive high and four-wheel drive low. Lots of options. Lastly, it has a class-leading towing capacity if you use a 70mm tow ball. If you use the regular 50mm tow ball, it goes down to 3.5 tonnes like its Japanese rivals from Toyota, Lexus and Nissan.
Okay, the interior of the GMC Yukon Denali is big. It's big. There is so much room here. There's a huge amount of space between the other passenger there, and yeah, it's very large. Plus, there's loads of luxury. There's leather everywhere. It all feels very nice. And interestingly, it doesn't feel low-tech or outdated. This huge screen here, another digital screen here, really nicely integrated. And also the Bose stereo. Chef's kiss, it's a thumper. The heated and cooled front seats are big and welcoming, and the leather quality is surprisingly good, creating a genuinely premium ambience in the cabin. With 12-way power adjust on both front seats and an excellent range of movement, not to mention a power adjustable steering wheel, it's easy to find a comfortable driving position. The interior has a dark overall motif, but the real wood grain trim and splashes of plastic chrome keep things interesting, and material quality is generally pretty good across most surfaces, especially on the doors and dashboard. And the team at Walkinshaw Automotive has done a great job with the conversion as well. It's hard to tell that this vehicle started life with the steering wheel right there. There's no squeaks or rattles that I can report with my week in the vehicle. The only telltale sign that this vehicle started life as a left-hand drive vehicle is the head-up display. It's the glass kind of curves away from you rather than towards you. But yeah, they've done a bang-up job. As you can imagine, in such a large vehicle, storage solutions are generous, and it starts with this central bin. You've got this sort of thing you can put whatever in your wallet, some coins. But this section here is big enough to do your laundry in. You could totally fill that up with water and suds and just do a bit of washing. Why not? You've got two USB ports, A and C. That's nice. Plus in here, 2 cup holders. And I've got to say, these concealed areas, that one feels okay. That one feels lovely. It slides in and out beautifully. Anyway, 2 cup holders. They're not spring-loaded, but they do have these sort of rubberized bits. And it fits the 750ml bottle. Beautiful. And then you've got this extra bucket here for, you know, odds and sods. Plus there's a wireless phone charger at the bottom there. That works well. Not ventilated, but better than a poke in the eye. Plus another 2 USB ports, USB-A, USB-C. You've got a medium-sized glove box. There's no sunglasses holder up here, but you do have a secret stash here. That's nice. You can put, I don't know, maybe your Bowie knife up there. And it's finished in sort of felt so it won't clang around when you're going around corners. And then you've got the door pockets. They are pretty big, and yes, they fit the 1 litre Mega Gulp and the 750ml bottle, and they're multi-tiered, so there's another little section in there for other bits and pieces. If you're like me and you hate doing everything through the touchscreen, you're going to like this car because there's lots of physical controls. Starts with the big volume dial there. That's nice. All the climate controls have toggles as well. You've got temperature adjustment, fan adjustment, and there's a bunch of stuff up here too. It's pretty cool. So you got all the sunroof stuff. That's nice. Plus, you can hit this button, open the boot. You can even adjust the boot aperture so you can tell it to only open 3/4 high. If you're in an underground car park, you don't want it to go quite as high. That's really, really cool. And you can even flip down the rear seats with buttons here. It's sweet. And then there's even a whole bunch of stuff down here for changing
the full drive modes. You want to go in rear-wheel drive or four-wheel drive, you can adjust the drive mode, you can change the air suspension settings. There is so much physical controls in this car. I think it's fantastic.
For all the traditional controls in the car, its digital hub is remarkably high-tech. The big 16.8-inch screen delivering rapid touch response and high-def visuals. Even the menu system is easy to navigate, and the wireless Android Auto and Apple CarPlay look fantastic. You can even truncate the view with phone mirroring, which is a nice touch.
That said, the lack of GPS sat-nav is disappointing. GMSV reps reckon that most people will use phone mirroring, and I've been doing that using Google Maps and Waze, and it's been fine, it's great. But if you run out of mobile phone reception and you run out of data, then it can be a little bit tricky. Yes, Google Maps can sort of download stuff and you can do it without having data, but it can be hit and miss. And there's just something nice about having that global positioning system as a backup at all times, especially if you're roaming far and wide. You know, you're out in the bush, you're in the country, what have you.
Apart from the lack of native GPS sat-nav, it comes with pretty much everything demanded by modern car buyers today, except voice controls.
You get a tasty high-def 11-inch digital driver's display here that looks fantastic, and you can scroll through a couple of different screens, but for the life of me, I cannot get drive data to appear on this screen. It could be me, it could be that I'm just super dense. Feel free to leave some comments below if I'm just not very smart, but I couldn't figure it out, which was a bit annoying. But it does have the head-up display as well, which, as mentioned, is a little bit skewed, looks a little bit wonky, but is still very effective and has some good information on there for your regular driving.
The parking camera situation is good, but not great. There's a digital rear view mirror up top, a 360-degree overhead view on the main screen with plenty of different angles, including a useful trailer hitch view. But the size of the video feed is small and there's no 3D flick and spin mode.
And let me tell you, parking the Yukon can be a little daunting, to put it mildly. It's not really suited to tight urban streets and on-street parking, and especially shopping centre car parks. And believe you me, I've done it with this vehicle in pretty much every scenario, and the heart rate was elevated to dangerous levels. And sometimes you've got to use a bit of artistic license to get this thing in the car parks, I tell you.
The Yukon Denali comes with 6 airbags, including curtain airbags that cover all 3 rows of seating, along with the usual selection of safety tech expected nowadays. There's no ANCAP safety rating, but its 2.8-tonne mass means it's got physics on its side.
Okay, the back seats, they're fairly roomy and super flexible. They fold quicker than Superman on laundry day. We'll get to that in a sec, but they're not perfect. Look at headroom, that's pretty tight. If we go over a bump, I'm gonna get smashed. Legroom though is quite good. And if I want more legroom, there's a little handle here. That is really handy and it works for both sides. Now, while headroom not so good and seat comfort, you know, the cushions are fine, but it's quite flat. It's very flat back, very flat under thigh. Despite that, it's still a nice place to sit. There's a lot of room here. It's quite flat. There's no transmission tunnel protruding in there, and amenity is excellent. There's a lot going on back here. We'll start with climate control. You've got a third zone back here, so you can do fan, you can do temperature, and you can even hit auto if you want. Just let it do its own thing. Plus, the outboard seats are heated as well. There's 2 USB-C ports, very nice, and twin HDMI ports, each of them joining up with this. Be quiet. And these 12.6-inch screens are pretty cool. Touch screens too. Other things we've got, air vents, high mounted, I really like that. You've got the bag hooks here, the coat hooks here, LED reading lights, fold out armrest. That's really nice so you can get comfortable. Plus there's a bit of extra storage down here. It is missing a power point down here, which is a bit of a shame, but overall
Very impressive. Plus you've got the twin ISOFIX child seat anchorages and triple top tethers. Now, coming back to these 12.6 inch touch screens, they're pretty cool. And you get a pair of GMC branded wireless headphones, built in China, but whatever, that come with it, which is cool. It's easy to pair them up. However, what's not cool is actually getting content on the screens themselves, because there's no wireless setup for it. So you can't stream Netflix, you can't, there's no inbuilt video games. I wish it had that. So instead, you've got to plug a dongle into the HDMI, hook it up with your phone, get that mirroring, and then through there. Look, it's doable, and if you own one, you'll probably set it up and not have to worry, but I just wish there was a more elegant solution to have fun with these really lovely screens. Anyway, the back of this SUV has loads of flexibility. Just pump these levers and you can fold the seat flat or tumble it forward to gain access to the third row. Access to the rear seat is really easy for adults as well as kids, which is a bit of a surprise. And I gotta say, headroom back here is actually better than in the second row. And that's because there's a bit of an indent in the roof here. That's handy. Legroom too, surprisingly good. And these seats are not pushed all the way forward. I could honestly spend a reasonable amount of time back here, a longer journey, and not be too uncomfortable or claustrophobic. And I'm well taken care of too. I've got a cup holder, I've got a USB-C port, I've got my own air vent, I've got lights. It's pretty impressive. And this is a proper 8-seater, so there is 3 seats back here, but because of those wheel arches, it narrows the width a little bit. So you're probably gonna struggle with 3 adults back here, but overall, super impressive. Extraction is really simple too. There's a pull cord here, like most cars, or my favorite, a button. Hit that, boom, one touch, and then business class legroom, yeah. All right, check this out. Over here, hit the button, separate opening glass, throw your sports gear in, throw the kids in, throw the shopping in, whatever, nice and easy. I really love that feature. Then, when you open the boot itself, even with the third row seats engaged, there's actually a reasonable amount of space here. This is impressive. You can still get lots of shopping, suitcases in there, and best of all, this little control panel over here automatically power folds the third row seats. And it's surprisingly fast how quickly they go up and down. And it gets better. Then you can punch these 2 buttons here, and the next row of seats fold down automatically. And it all feels very solid. The mechanisms, they feel sturdy and robust. And the fact that you can do it all from this area here at the back, and it's so intuitive and so effective, it's fantastic. I've got 3 kids and it just works really well. Family buyers are gonna like this. Amenity, not that great though. You've got good lights in there. There's a couple of sturdy tie down points here and some little shopping bag hooks that double as cargo net anchorages, but there's no 12-volt socket. You can see where the power point for US models would have been. Would have been nice to have a few more things in here, but there's the brakes. So that is the interior. It is massive, it's well equipped, and it's super versatile. And while the car's a little bit vexing to park, it's a delight to drive. First impression, it's a beast. When that Chevy V8 fires up for the first time and the whole car shudders a little bit, it's a compelling opening act. It motivates surprisingly effortlessly for such a big and heavy SUV, and the lumpy V8 warble that emanates from its dual exhaust outlets when you give it a bit of shtick is almost worth the price of admission alone. This may be an old school engine, just 2 valves per cylinder, but it is buttery smooth and there is so much low end torque. Really nice. Even with gentle prods of the loud pedal, it responds swiftly. And sure, it chugs fuel like there's no tomorrow and eats up plenty of lane space, but it does big and luxurious like few other SUVs out there. It delivers a very pleasant and even charming drive experience in almost all scenarios. And that 10-speed auto is really nicely calibrated, so it gives you relaxed gear shifts when you're just cruising along. Of course, when you need to beat a hasty getaway, the transmission snaps to attention smartly. But even at full throttle, it's never jerky or juddery. Even on my usual 40-minute, 15-kilometre commute from home, to Melbourne City at the car sales office, which is often hellish, this vehicle is actually quite placid and docile, which is a surprise for something so big. It can feel a bit ungainly at times, but GMC has nailed the brief when it comes to ease of use. Yes, it's big, bigger than Ben-Hur, I'd argue, but you only really notice its significant 2+ metre girth when trying to navigate shopping centre or supermarket car parks, or going up really tight little city alleyways. Comfort levels are reasonably good, especially considering it's rolling on insane 24-inch alloy wheels. The suspension does a solid job of soaking up crummy road surfaces, but there is a bit of echo or flex through the massive ladder chassis over harsher, bigger hits in the road. So there is a bit of scuttle shake if you like, but nothing offensive, and for the most part the Yukon is remarkably placid and smooth when out in the country going for a cruise. And the ride height is adjustable across 4 settings thanks to the air suspension. Jack it up for curbs, speed bumps and general road dominance. Then lower it when freeway cruising for a bit more fuel economy. On the open road, where this SUV truly shines, there's a bit of steering feel, which is quite the surprise. In other words, there's a tangible connection between car and driver. It doesn't mind the odd sweeping corner and feels predictable and planted for the most part. But if you blast through a roundabout with too much pace or hurry through a tight corner a little too quickly, those internal alarm bells will start sounding, and it just feels like it's not equipped for this sort of manoeuvring. Vision is excellent out the front, sides and rear. Plus you've got these enormous side mirrors that give you a commanding view of your surroundings. Exactly what you want in something this size. The brakes, well, they're pretty soft. This is not the sort of vehicle that wants to stop in a hurry, so you have to learn to drive it accordingly. Now, there are optional Brembo brakes available in the US, and I kind of feel like they would be really useful here, and given the price, they kind of should be included in the whole kit and caboodle. When it comes to fuel efficiency, it actually wasn't as bad as expected. No one is ever going to get the claimed 12.8 litres per 100. That is just a fantasy. But the figure we finished with actually wasn't too bad for something of this size. It does have legit off-road functionality, and as mentioned, it's got low-range gearing as well. And as also mentioned, there's no way I'm taking this vehicle mud plugging wearing these shiny shoes. Nuh-uh. No. You can get a jacked up AT4 version of the Yukon in the USA that's designed for off-roading, and that would probably resonate with customers here. Now, even if you don't plan on taking this off-road and making use of that low ratio gear set, it is handy to be able to change between four-wheel drive. Let's say you chuck it in four-wheel drive auto, it's wet, you get a lot more grip, and then you can chuck it in rear drive and do some bogan shenanigans if that's your thing. The autonomous driving controls are okay. There is adaptive cruise control, that works really well, but the lane keep assist is it's so-so. There's also an interesting feature when you go close to lines on the road, the line markings, you get a little vibration through the seat, and it's quite intense. A love or hate relationship depending on how you like vibrations through your derriere. Ooh, another thing I almost forgot was the awesome mirror. Not only is the rear windscreen massive and nice and flat, flip that, digital rear view mirror. They are so handy, and they work really well at night too. But as it stands, the blinged up GMC Yukon Denali achieves its mission objective with military precision. And that objective is fairly straightforward: to transport lots of people and lots of gear with a minimum of fuss, and do it comfortably and effortlessly. Sure, you could confidently argue that this is an oversized, gas-guzzling brute with an outdated engine, sloppy brakes, a pathetic warranty, outlandish pricing, and the sort of subtlety that turns every school drop-off into an accidental climate protest.
But you know what? Despite all its flaws, I still kinda love it. If I had the cash and a driveway big enough to land a small plane, I would absolutely own one of these. Thanks for watching, and what do you reckon? Too big for Aussie roads and car parks? Have your say in the comments below.